is CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Travis Fortnum. New video from Windsor Police tonight as they search for the suspect said to have fired shots at an East End home. Take a look. If you recognize this car, police want to hear from you. They've identified it as a dark-colored Dodge Challenger, saying it was caught on this surveillance video between 2 and 3:30 Wednesday morning, traveling north on Atwater Crescent and turning west on Winslow. Police were called to a home on Winslow around 9 a.m. yesterday after the folks living there found a number of bullet holes in the house's exterior. Now, investigators are asking everyone in the area to check their cameras for further images of this car and ask anyone who might have info to give them a call. And Windsor police swarming the area of Tecumseh Road East and Moy Avenue this morning after reports of a man carrying a gun. Officers tracked down the suspect, an 18-year-old, and confirmed the weapon was a CO2 rifle. As a precaution, nearby schools were placed on hold and secure. The all-clear came around 11:30 a.m. A separate weapons call up in Chatham, Kent Tuesday night with a 78-year-old man facing charges. CK police surrounded a trailer on Queen's Line, and when they got in, the man was found unresponsive and taken to hospital for assessment. No one else was hurt, but he now faces 4 charges, including pointing a firearm and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. In other news, Lakeshore Council has signed off on a zoning change allowing up to 4 residential units on a single lot in low-density areas. The move, often debated in communities across Ontario, means homeowners can now add basement apartments, backyard suites, or convert homes into duplexes and, yes, fourplexes without special approvals. It's part of a commitment tied to Lakeshore's $7.4 million federal housing accelerator funding. The amendments passed 6-2 at council, that is, with councillors Vogler and Kerr opposed. While tensions simmer between Ottawa and Washington, the hospitals of Detroit are extending a hand across the border. CTV's Chris Campbell shows us why many Windsor area nurses are answering the call.
Even amid strained trade and political relations between Canada and the U.S., the cross-border connection remains strong, especially for healthcare workers drawn by higher wages for job openings in Detroit.
We have about 3,000 plus open positions on our career site, and more than 800 are nursing. So we have all kinds of full-time, part-time, contingent roles. What fits your schedule? We have it open.
From nurses and lab technologists to support staff, Henry Ford Health is ready to hire Canadians on the spot.
We have 800 plus Canadian nurses right now working already into our system.
Recruiters from Detroit met one-on-one with Windsor area job seekers at the Komodo Club today, hoping to fill many of those open positions.
Henry Ford's is one of the best ideal location and easy access for our Windsor residents.
Some job seekers drawn by the promise of higher wages and new experiences.
There's a lot of positions open for sure, and coming from someone who's about to be a new grad nurse, looking for full-time positions is something that I would love.
I have some friends that already work there. They talk really highly about it, and they say it's a really good work environment, good team.
Immigration lawyers were also on hand, guiding Canadians through the paperwork and visa process that comes with working in the U.S.
The U.S. healthcare system, there's been a deficit in the amount of workers available to take care of an aging population in the United States. So a lot of employers, including Henry Ford, are looking outside of the United States to recruit healthcare workers.
At the end of the day, what we are doing is offering a patient care, so to ensure that we take care of our community. Hence, they can work either in Canada or USA, and cross-border is a great way to get an experience in U.S. health system also for their own career journey.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Also coming from that side of the border tonight, shocking video as an argument over a refund turns violent inside a Michigan McDonald's. A warning, the video you are about to see is a little bit disturbing. Take a look.
Yeah, we've been 20 minutes waiting.
Yes, that is a customer so worked up over how long a refund might take that she splashes her hot coffee all over an employee. It happened in Saginaw, Michigan. Another customer catching this video on their phone, with Buena Vista police sharing it in order to track the suspect down. Investigators say the video blew up so fast they were able to identify the 48-year-old suspect within minutes. With a warrant now out for her arrest, They say she lives just a few blocks from the restaurant and could face a felony assault charge, the employee suffering minor burns. And a warning, if you've got travel plans that bank on flying out of the Detroit airport, the DTW is one of 40 possible airports cutting flights by 10% as the U.S. government shutdown continues. The FAA says it's going to reduce staffing starting tomorrow morning, citing strain on air traffic controllers who have been working unpaid since October 1st during the shutdown. Travelers are advised to keep close tabs on your flight and pack your patience. And buckle up, Red Wings fans. There's a lot going on over the next few days. Detroit's celebrating a century of Red Wings history, and the party lasts all weekend. FanFest kicked off tonight with players signing autographs and a few legends stopping by. Friday night, the Wings face the Rangers. Saturday night, it's 100 years of Hockeytown at the Fox Theater. A star-studded look back at iconic moments like the Russian Five and Fight Night at the Joe. And then Sunday, the Blackhawks come to town. And in Windsor hockey,
now a break for the Spitfires, and all alone, backhander, scores Liam Greentree, and the Spits are up by 3.
There's Windsor Spitfires captain Liam Greentree, that is, capping things off in the third tonight as the Spits blanked the Kingston Frontenacs 3-0 in Greentree's 200th OHL game, no less. AJ Spellici opened the scoring early with a backhand between the pads. Jack Nesbitt added another just before the first intermission, and that was all they'd need. And while the Spitfires may be celebrating tonight, somebody else is celebrating over at WIFF after a banner year at the film festival. More than 50,000 people took in films over the 11-day event. Executive Director Vincent Georgie says 100 filmmakers flew in from across Canada and the U.S., giving the local economy a boost.
Lots of tourists visiting us for sure from across Ontario, across Canada, and across the U.S. And a whole bunch of filmmakers, about 100 filmmakers flew in from across Canada to be at the festival and show their film. And amazing comments, and the best comments we get are always how welcoming the Windsor audience is and how welcoming the community is.
Celebrations coming up on Saturday, too, for Assumption High School as it marks 155 years. Founded in 1870, Assumption first opened on what's now the University of Windsor campus before moving to Huron Church Road. Over the years, the school has expanded, adding a middle school and joining the Catholic School Board. Saturday's event include building tours from noon to 3.
It's been instilled in our heads, goodness, discipline, and knowledge, and it's just a tradition that we try to push in the school community to this day. And because of that, we've got people all over the world that are attending.
We are blessed with a lot of great coaches, Father Armstrong, Father Cullen, who produce people like Eddie Mio, John Upham, Reno Bertoria, all Hall of Fame athletes.
Meantime, it's been nearly a decade since Harrow High School closed, but tonight there's a new vision for that century-old building. CTV's Michelle Molesky has the details.
A new future for the home of the Hawks.
Harrow District High School is over 114 years old.
Horizon Investment Group bought the 3-acre site to turn it into 160 residential units.
It will be inclusive, attainable, and carbon-free space.
CEO Wing-On Lee says the development will have a mix of ownership and rental for 2-story townhouses and 3-story sixplexes.
This new development is not going to wipe the whole school off the map.
Lee says they plan to save 7,000 square feet for community space and possibly a Hall of Fame in homage to the staff and students who used to roam these halls.
Kind of sad to see that the school's closing.
The last class of students graduated from Harrow High in 2016 after repeated attempts to shutter the rural school as far back as the 90s. The town bought the school and surrounding grounds in 2021.
We paid $780,000. The number that we are talking about with Horizon isn't public yet, but we've got more than $780,000. So that's a good announcement because it basically means that we got the green space for free.
Neighbors turned out for the news conference Thursday, some still disappointed there's no high school in town, while others are just hopeful this project will come to fruition.
This has been sitting like this and we've just been watching it fall apart for quite a few years now, and finally they're doing something. It's going to help out the community, which is huge.
But if others don't like the idea, Lee vows to listen.
And see what do they think is more reasonable, more affordable, or whatever thing they think that, the pricing point, the amenities, the layout of the units, whether they are meeting the community expectation. We are willing to listen and to change.
The town is now looking to schedule a public information meeting to gauge local reaction to this idea. In the meantime, Lee says it would be, quote, easy for him to get this project done in 3 years' time. In Harrow, Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
And Villanova High School students spent the morning honoring Canadian veterans planting flags at a local cemetery. Here's CTV's Bob Belichico with that story.
We go beyond the textbook.
History teacher Paula Brownlee brought her class to the Victoria Memorial Gardens Cemetery in Oldcastle today.
One day I was driving by the Legion, and across the cemetery I saw the flags. I thought that would be a really great idea if our students did it.
Brownlee reached out to Jerry Charisic, the Poppy Chair at the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 594 on Howard, to see if her students could plant Canadian flags in honor of veterans.
This is what we do, We try to keep their memory alive.
Turns out the Legion plants flags 3 times a year. Villanova students placed flags this morning before taking a minute to reflect.
When we do this, I get happy so we can remember those who fought for us and why we have freedom.
Well, if you can see how many there are, so many graves of veterans. And yeah, they just wanted the greater good for Canada.
And I think it's important that students remember the sacrifice of our veterans.
Students noticed some of the veterans were their age when they lost their lives in combat.
It is kind of shocking though that some people died at such a young age, and it's that we're their age too. It's crazy.
So the students were here for about an hour and learned a lot, but the learning doesn't end here today. Miss Brownlee is extending this opportunity into next week, where the students will get to meet and interview veterans that are still around.
I have a list of veterans from the community, and we're reaching out to them and doing an oral history project from it.
You can better understand, and I feel like just us alone, we have no idea how they dealt with that or what they did. So I think it's a great way to better understand, and is one of the things we can do.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time.
It doesn't take long in the career of a firefighter to either experience a coworker or a colleague who has experienced this horrible disease, cancer.
And still ahead, Windsor firefighters putting themselves out there all through 2026 for a good cause. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with a look at the weather. Gary, remind me tomorrow to bring my umbrella.
Travis, bring your umbrella. You'll need it in the morning. Good evening once again, folks. We're talking about rain for that early morning commute. And I think it'll be quite windy, in particular for the morning and early afternoon before things start to subside in that respect. Speaking of subsiding conditions, temperature's going to fall off drastically for the weekend that's upcoming. Today was a seasonal day. In terms of the highs, we were right on average, but in terms of low, just above the freezing mark this morning. Some areas, now that's at the airport's official station. Other areas, obviously, it's not completely uniform, but some areas did get to 0, if not slightly below. So we did see frost in parts of extreme southwestern Ontario. That snow in northwestern Ontario, cold enough in the northern parts of the great province to see that. Some rain showers trailing south of that disturbance of snow. All part of this area of low pressure that's headed west to east across the northern flanks of Ontario. The cold front that's on its way will arrive, as mentioned, as most of us are headed to work or school, dropping the kids off, etc. And then we'll see some wind also impacting us along that front. It sweeps through quickly, and then we'll see some colder air in behind it. It remains cloudy Friday afternoon into Saturday and potentially Sunday. Speaking of temperatures falling off, so we were just above the freezing mark for our low, but got up to a high near 11 degrees. Next week, we'll be in single digits, maybe 2, 3, 4 degrees for some days. The high, which means the lows will be in the minuses. something to keep in mind. I've given you the heads up. Rain does blanket all of Ontario, essentially south of North Bay and east towards the Golden Horseshoe and along that 401 corridor east from there to the nation's capital. So rain on the way, gusty, windy conditions, the cloudiness with 7 degrees, the low before dawn tomorrow morning. So let's see where things are headed for your Friday, up to about 13, 14 in the afternoon, but it's a rainy day as mentioned. And we'll see more of the same. I think through the weekend, it will be either rain and or drizzly, light rain, maybe even some light flurries. Look at where temperatures are headed. 14 down to 9, then 4, then 3. That's the next 4 days. The highs expected with lows in the -2 territory. Monday morning and Tuesday morning before temperatures rebound a bit, but still below seasonal Wednesday and Thursday next week. That's a look at your weather.
Thank you, Gary. The Ford government has released its fall economic statement, and it is projecting a smaller deficit than in the spring. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the details.
U.S. tariffs cast a dark shadow on Queen's Park and the latest fiscal outlook. Recycling the title of the spring budget, the plan to protect Ontario shows a lot of downward trends. The deficit is $1 billion smaller than projected in the spring, but it's down arrows for economic growth, employment, and housing starts. The finance minister says these trying times call for a steady hand.
They demand that we protect our workers and businesses and national industries from uncertainty.
But there are few new investments here for Ontario residents and businesses under strain. There is $100 million more for a fund to help smaller businesses reach new markets. There's an expansion of a manufacturing tax credit. A $5 billion fund announced in the spring has only paid out $100 million to Algoma Steel.
We've been in the process of adjudicating those applications, and we'll be having some announcements real soon.
Not enough for the opposition. They want to know if there are strings attached to that provincial help.
Workers and their families are lying awake at night worrying about layoffs and plant closures. This premier still has no jobs plan.
The minister says the government acted back in the spring.
$30 billion of tariff supports, $9 billion in deferrals, $2 billion of WSIB rebates that are flowing to businesses so they can stay open, they can meet payroll and compete.
This plan makes official promises of $1 billion more for home care and a tax break for first-time homebuyers on some new homes. But with a predicted economic cool down ahead,
the minister continues either to be deluded or to not being transparent when he forecasts a path to balance in 2027-28.
As the government builds new highways and contemplates a tunnel under the 401, it's ending the practice of setting greenhouse gas emission reduction targets.
They don't care about the fact that we're seeing increasing costs and risks associated with unsafe weather events fueled by the climate crisis.
Bethlen Falvey insists they're committed to reducing emissions through things like investing in nuclear energy.
So we're not going to relent, but we're going to focus on outcomes and not targets.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
There's been excitement up in the St. Thomas area with the PowerCo EV battery plant expected to open in 2027 and generate thousands of jobs. But what wasn't expected was word it could cost $400 million to run water to the plant. Here's CTV's Brian Bicknell with that story.
It's a water bill that no one anticipated.
We would need to double the capacity of the plant, and that's about a $400 million investment that we just didn't plan for because we weren't expecting it for another 30 years.
The Elgin Area Water Board has written to the Ministers of Economic Development and Environment expressing financial concerns. According to Regional Water Director Andrew Henry, the latest water use forecast for the PowerCo plant under construction in St. Thomas is 20 million liters per day, up from the initial forecast of 13 million in 2023. What it means is a water system upgrade to the tune of $400 million is required, and for it to be done decades sooner than planned.
The PowerCo is about 20% of the existing capacity is what they're looking for. And while we could supply PowerCo in the very short term, the other industries that are coming shortly thereafter, we're going to be struggling to make sure that we have enough water for them.
Elgin Water Board Chair Pete Barber says the only source of revenue is the water rate. So member municipalities would likely end up taking out long-term debt.
For a smaller municipality to take on significant debt may impact their ability to do other projects, to do roads, sewers, buy a fire truck.
Right now, London is the largest of 8 municipalities to take water from this plant, making up about 50% of what comes out of this site and absorbing 50% of the cost. But that could soon change with the addition of PowerCo and other industries.
Theoretically, they could be saddled with a $200 million debt. Should PowerCo go ahead with their expectations of water consumption, that 50% could conceivably be shifted to St. Thomas.
In a statement to CTV News, PowerCo said, in part, as we build this generational project, we're working closely with our municipal and regional partners to ensure these communities continue to thrive sustainably. This includes support for infrastructure such as water system upgrades. In Elgin County, Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was down as the technology sector tumbled. In Toronto, the TSX lost 235 points, and in New York, the Dow fell 399, while the Nasdaq dropped 446. The Canadian dollar added a modest 0.02 cents today, and on commodity markets, gold fell almost $2 an ounce, and oil lost 17 cents a barrel. CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Thursdays, we like to start getting ready for the weekend and maybe help you sort out what to do. Enter our weekly segment, What's Up YQG. Tonight, we find CTV's Melanie Kentner and Virgin Radio's Johnny Parks getting ready for Carnival Noir.
Yes, we have these beautiful masquerade masks on for a reason. Johnny, have you ever been to a masquerade ball?
Yeah, all the time. You can't tell. I actually brought this one from home. It's kind of my thing. We are here with Joe Jolasic, the president of Velvet Edge Entertainment. Can you tell us about Carnival Noir?
Yes, Carnival Noir is an annual immersive masquerade event. We're on our third year now. It's 20,000 square feet, 2 floors, nearly 100 cast members. It's grown into one of the region's largest masquerade events.
Sounds amazing. So what's the theme this year?
The theme this year is Night of the Fae. So it's fairies, kind of a dark fantasy twist on things.
I think we've all had dark fantasies, haven't we? Come on. You were talking about some of the entertainment. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
We have all sorts of acts. We have circus acts, fire performers, we have burlesque shows, musical acts, 2 DJs. We have so many performances.
And if people want to get tickets, how can they do that?
You simply go to carnivalnoir.ca.
Perfect. And don't forget your masks and your costumes. Okay, Johnny, what else is going on this weekend?
Caesars Windsor. You can see Voyage do the hits of Journey. That's happening Friday. We'll all be singing Don't Stop Believing, obviously.
Got it. Got it! You just took 1,000 pictures. Of course you got it.
Saturday, we got comedian Joe Coy taking the Coliseum stage.
Sounds like a nice variety. So what about something sporty?
Bowl for Kids' Sake is happening Friday and Saturday, and that's in support of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Windsor, Essex.
And we also have something for dog lovers.
Yeah, Bark at the Park is happening Saturday at Lansbury Park. Admission is free, but they do ask that you bring a canned food donation.
Yeah, so from canines to carnival, something for everybody. Check out the links on our website, and that's What's Up, YQG.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is back with one last look at the forecast for the evening. Gary, call us Guns N' Roses because we are talking November rain.
Yeah, I love that song. You're right about that, Travis. Couple of things to point out. Today, relatively speaking, was average in terms of the highs, but the low was chilly. I think tomorrow is, relatively speaking, mild, about 4 degrees above seasonal. But the bigger story will be the rain in the morning for the morning commute through the midday, early afternoon. Reach a high of about 14 at around 3 p.m. And then we're down to 5 degrees early Saturday morning, still cloudy. The average daytime high by Saturday is still about 10.4 degrees Celsius. Will be at 9. Then more rain and much colder, a high of 4 with a low of 1 on Sunday. Monday, colder still, 3 with a low of -2 and maybe a mix, flurries and rain showers. Tuesday's Remembrance Day. Wear a poppy, of course, 5 degrees there. Fairer weather Wednesday and Thursday, 6 and 8 degrees Celsius. Rain is coming. Put on a good tune to work your way through it for tomorrow's morning commute. Have yourselves a good night.
Thank you, Gary. And just like we left you last night, we leave you with Windsor firefighters turning up the heat, only instead of chili, they are selling calendars.
You have to purchase these calendars in person, and we have various dates throughout the months of November and December. They make a great stocking stuffer, and in addition to that, at all these events, we'll have multiple firefighters that are in the calendar, and we enjoy interacting with the community. We enjoy signing the calendars or taking pictures, so come on down and say hi to us.
For $15 or 2 for $25, you can pick up the 2026 Windsor Firefighters Calendar. Find them at Devonshire Mall, Windsor Regional Hospital, and select Walmarts and Real Canadian Superstores across the city. Money raised goes to the Windsor Cancer Center Foundation.
We chose this foundation because it doesn't take long in the career of a firefighter to either experience a coworker or a colleague who has experienced this horrible disease, cancer. And beyond that, within the community, everyone's been touched by this horrible disease. And it really means a lot to us that we're able to raise these funds, and the funds will stay within the community of Windsor, Essex.
That's our time for tonight. I hope you'll join us tomorrow. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Take care.